Welcome into this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford studio this morning. Neal back from vacation, got a tan going on. He's ready to go over here as we're starting another week with you. Back to normal probably for a pretty good while here. We'll figure out schedules and all that because, frankly, I don't know what we're building schedules around right now. That is a great question.
I think
as we move into the lack of. I think we're building the schedules into a lack of a schedule is what we're probably doing. But we'll talk about it today. We'll hit a few different things with you over the course of our normal show. It's brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Speed Pass Plus out. Take advantage of it. You can pay right there on the pump. Don't have to touch the card reader. Solid. The Oxford Exxon, probably all blue sky locations. You can also use some plastic to wrap up your hands. Don't have to touch the pumps either, trying to protect you as many ways as possible. You don't get that everywhere, but you get that with the Oxford Exxon and all blue sky locations in Mississippi. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Give Corey a call. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's get into a Clark Ford today. You will love the service. You'll love the product. You'll love everything about it. Corey wants to be a car guy. He wants to be a truck guy. He'll prove that to you when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Honestly, I need to talk to Hudson Chadwick a little bit to find out what exactly is the situation there. But I know Rafters on the Water is open. And I think Rafters on the Square is open too. But I need to talk to Hudson about that. We'll get information about Rafters on the Water later in the week. They're open Wednesday through Sunday. They have curbside available, live music, great cocktails, burgers, seafood, the whole deal. So, yeah.
Let's see. We've got plenty of places to go on today's show, I guess. Probably not a lot of lighthearted ones. Probably not ones that are going to feel most people warm and fuzzy. But I guess we'll start with a nice thing. How was the trip? What'd you do? Did you eat much of anything? Did you hang out on the beach for a while? What's going on during the week?
We had a good time. Hung out at the beach a lot. I like the beach. I've always liked the beach. Laura loves the beach. So
I like the things associated with the beach more than the actual beach. You're much more of an actual beach person than I am. I like the food, the warm weather, the golf, the stuff that goes around it more than I necessarily want to just sit on the beach for 8 or 9 hours over the course of the day.
I didn't play golf.
And I assumed that. You didn't take clubs with you. I had a guess.
I did not take clubs. I got up every morning but one and went for a run on the beach, which was good.
It makes you fit. You got to get through the sand.
Yep, you have to really work.
Yeah.
You have to really work. You work ankles and calves and glutes and things that I don't know that you work the exact same way when you're running running on the streets. Although it's funny, yesterday I went for a run in the neighborhood, and I think I got started a little too late, and man, the humidity was just brutal. Anyway, I didn't do a lot. I mean, literally each day I got up and went for a run and came back and took a shower and put on a swimsuit and went back down to the beach and pretty much stayed there till about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And we cooked every night, but we ordered pizza one night. We went out one night. The kids went out a good bit. We went out one night. I don't normally go out a lot at the beach anyway.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to fight the crowds and all that stuff. And it was crowded, but it wasn't bad. But I'm not – people can make fun of me. This is the only thing left really that I'm not kind of comfortable doing. I don't really like going in to eat yet.
I have not been inside a restaurant yet. I have not. We talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. I've eaten outside several times at different places.
Yeah.
I have not been inside a restaurant yet.
I don't remember the name of the place where we went, but it was outside, and it was fine. I mean, I got some gumbo. Just like the whole building a vacation around dinners has not ever really been my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly not since I've tried to not be a massive fat guy. I read on the beach. And
what'd you take to read?
I finally.
Because you had a couple different books. I remember you kind of
Yeah.
prepared for this a little bit. You had some stuff.
Yeah, and I only took one book, which was a mistake.
Yeah, why'd you do that? You
I
read
don't
enough to
know.
not do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I read Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger.
How was that?
It was great. It was
Okay.
really, really good. It's won awards, and I can see how you sort of felt the end coming a little bit
Oh, really?
throughout. Yeah, and it was a little depressing, but
Okay.
it was good.
Which is what you hate in movies.
Yeah,
You want to leave a movie in a good in good shape.
it was beautifully written. I'll give him that. It was beautifully written. I mean, incredibly
Okay.
gifted writer. I don't know. I borrowed a boogie board that was laying out there and tried to learn how to do that on the waves. Went way out pretty deep.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Okay.
Just goofed around. I had a football and a frisbee, and I threw with Carson and
What alcohol did you take? Did you
Everything.
Did you do a little bit of everything?
yeah,
A little bourbon, a little tequila, a little wine, a little beer.
yeah.
Little seltzer even. You get
I didn't do those large. Drank a lot of those.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had to buy a lot of those.
no judgment. A lot of it.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Well, and there were. I mean,
No, she had a ton. She had a lot.
I
of
mean,
them.
boy, a lot. It got to that point by the end of the vacation that I finished my run at 9:30, and I just opened a beer. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, why not?
That's
So it was
fair.
good. I needed to get away. I never took my phone down to the beach other than to run.
Okay.
I did not take my laptop.
At all. He didn't even have
didn't-
it just in case something caught on fire.
I did not take it.
Okay.
I didn't work much.
Fix I saw you on the board starting probably like Tuesday just for a little bit. Just kind of
Wednesday
checking
a little
in
bit. Yeah.
a little.
Well, I knew where things were headed on Wednesday,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I probably don't need to just abandon ship right this moment.
So, a very common podcast subject for us over the years. Thoughts with John Travolta, Kelly Preston passing away overnight with breast cancer at 57.
I didn't even know she
I
had
had
it.
no idea. They said they kept it mostly quiet. I looked back through her Instagram this morning when I had seen the news, and I mean, I guess if you said, "Hey, did she look healthy or sick?" Maybe in the eyes and cheekbones, maybe had lost some weight or was a little sick, but no, there was nothing that was overly noticeable there. Said she'd been getting treatment for 2 years at MD Anderson. I think one of her obituaries or articles
Really?
said this morning. I think it was People that had that. Obviously, for Love of the Game, Jerry Maguire, the two that we've discussed the most over the course of time.
I think it's safe to say that I had a crush on Kelly Preston.
There's
in
something.
a healthy way.
Well, it's funny because it's two movies I just mentioned her in. In Jerry Maguire, she plays the incredibly attractive, pretty intense, difficult woman,
Yeah.
and where you have there's no thought of, hey, girl next door whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
For Love of the Game, she had a little bit of a girl next door quality. There
For sure.
was a certain attainability in For Love of the Game that you went, okay, yeah, I get why Kevin Costner is attracted to her, but it's not this, hey, I have no shot in the world at the bar in the right circumstance.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, she was able to kind of, for lack of a word, give herself just a little frumpiness in that movie, just a little,
Okay.
and make herself normal. Like, you didn't look at her in that movie and think gorgeous superstar. You just thought,
No, yeah.
yeah, I mean, she played the part.
She was really good in that movie. I mean, as much as we kind of make fun of that movie or whatever we do, I mean, she was good in that movie. And she plays the role very good in Jerry Maguire because it's such a contrast to what you're getting from Renee Zellweger as
Yeah.
the, whatever. Webb, thank you. Good to see you. Always enjoy, not for the super chats, just in general, and taking part in our streams. I'm getting the message before Neil does because I'm looking at the master thing.
It just popped up.
Hand raise guys this Thursday. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't see any reason why not. What do we hear about stadium capacity? And please post pic and the red Trump hat, keeping the sun off your head and picking up the ladies from the beach trip. I think I have the Trump hat, so you had no ability to take the Trump hat with you. I did not think of that.
I didn't take one picture of myself at the beach with anyone. We didn't even get a picture of the kids at the beach. Nothing.
It doesn't cross my mind. It's not something that I ever think about to do. Leif has a good thought in the live stream. We're just all over the place today. You're going to forgive us.
I will answer his second question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are we hearing about stadium capacity? I mean, at the risk of just being total buzzkill right now, I don't think it's going to be an issue this fall. If it is, if we're fortunate enough for it to be an issue,
I think it's family only.
yeah, I mean,
As of now, that is my guess. And here's we'll just get into it for a second. We can come back to this because we can go off for a while. It's where, if you're Ole Miss, even, there's this concern here because, like Keith Carter told me, whatever day, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, everything runs together, sometime last week, and I heard it from somebody else too over there. Even with the 7% operating budget cuts, they built their budget for fiscal 2021, I guess it would be 2021, off 50% football capacity. That is what they took as the number that was hopeful to build a budget off of. So anything even budget related at the current cuts is built off that. So if anything less than that, and again, 0 is better than 25, as weird as that sounds, because you don't have the operating expenses out from a net standpoint. It's another budget cut. So anything less than 50 is an issue.
yeah,
And I just don't see 50 right now. Maybe I feel better in a week. Maybe something comes down and lights us up. But
from your mouth to
I
God's
know,
ears.
But I've gone from optimistic to kind of neutral. I spent most of last week very neutral. I was like, I don't know. I'm not necessarily overly pessimistic. I'm not necessarily optimistic. I'm just kind of whatever.
Barring a very
I feel a little
positive,
pessimistic today. I
yeah.
do, for whatever reason. I'm in a good mood. It's not mood based.
No.
I just I don't.
barring a very positive development, it's not going to happen.
Puffy 2102 says Ole Miss is going to have to drop some sports. I was told a couple months ago they probably could get through 1 year without that being the case. I have no way to know of that either way, so I don't know.
And then Puffy says girls soccer, track, rifle.
It would
nope,
be men's sports.
you're on the wrong track here, Puff, because it's going to be Title IX stuff has to kick in. What's going to get killed all over the country is men's sports.
Men's Olympic sports are what will get killed if this happens.
Just destroyed.
Yeah. I don't know how many. I don't know, whatever. Again, I think SEC schools, at least most SEC schools, can do a year of this without having to cut a sport. Because, look, Stanford, I was talking to a couple people about Stanford last week. They cut 11 varsity sports. Now, they played 36, but still. And somebody said, not trying to be callous or whatever, but essentially they didn't let the pandemic go to waste. In a lot of instances, they were trying to cut those sports anyway and didn't have a reason to. And they kind of were doing things for their department anyway for a couple of them. Because they cut 2 of the sports over $133,000.
Yeah.
It's a very small amount of money to keep or cut a sport.
They were running pretty fatty.
Yeah.
As it was. I mean, they were, like you said, looking for a reason to trim up, but
yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think the capacity thing is something that will have to just come at a later date. We're not at the point of even worrying about it right now. Let's see what happens or doesn't happen, and we'll go from there. The comment in the live stream that caught my attention was Leif says, yesterday I thought I never wear jerseys anymore, but if I did, it would be a jersey of someone in a movie. I think I'd wear a Gus Sinski jersey, the catcher from Love of the Game. That'd be a really good jersey.
I've thought about getting that jersey many times. So many times.
I mean, even among movie characters, jerseys and different things, that might be a top 3 one. Because I mean, nobody's gonna like walk around in a Jimmy Chitwood basketball jersey. I mean, come on, okay. I mean, what are you thinking about yourself? It's got to be somewhat ironic, somewhat funny. Sinski's up the list. That's dang good. I mean, I would definitely want Sinski before I wanted Billy Chappell.
Oh yeah.
It's not close.
No, you'd want the Sinski jersey.
Yeah. That's good.
I've thought about that one a bunch. Like almost ordered it 20 times.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You just customize it to say Sinski.
Yeah, Sinski, whatever his number was.
Or whatever
I have to go look
was.
and see what his number was.
Yeah, I don't either.
The road Detroit jersey.
Oh, you get the gray one. Get the
yeah,
whole
because the whole game's played in the gray jersey.
Okay, thanks. Do they show him in a white jersey at any point?
I'm sure they do, but I don't recall. That's a good question.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know what button I just hit, but I hit some button and completely changed my.
Chappell or 14. I'm having a hard time finding a picture of Sinski when he doesn't have a chest protector on. So I'm having an issue finding his number currently.
He hits a double, remember?
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing some point in that you see him with the jersey number on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I don't know. I'm striking out at the moment to find that, but anyway, okay.
Mark Angelou says, this move by the Big Ten, the beginning of the Power Five, saying adios to the NCAA. Look, potentially, here's what the Big Ten did. The Big Ten just finally said, screw it. We know where we're all. The SEC knows where it's going. The Pac-12 knows where it's going. The Big 12 knows where it's going. The ACC knows where it's going. The only potential scenario where you can manage this is a conference-only schedule. It gives the league oversight. It lets the league know, okay, this team has this many cases. This is who it is. You can still have privacy, but you can manage.
Well, Gabe had a great point in that article. I mean, it exponentially lessens the people you come in contact with. It's 14 groups of people instead of 70 groups of people or whatever it is over the course of a season.
Yeah.
And again, same protocols. And, hey, something's weird. Hey, we'll just move something around if we can. I mean, look, again, we've said this 1,000 times, but it bears repeating. If we get any season, please, thank God, yes, you cannot get caught up on anything that happens logistically as a negative. Let it come however it has to come at this point. I mean, wins and losses don't matter. Scheduling doesn't matter. Take a week off and play another team over here doesn't matter. I mean, just play games. Just play games. That's all that matters at some extent. We'll see. The TV contracts need to be fulfilled this fall. And they need to be filled in the fall, not the spring.
It's the one thing that people – by the way, Gus Sinski wore 27.
Okay, there you go.
It's the one thing that people don't – even the coaches, I think, have a hard time accepting this. I've heard people say, well, boy, we really get screwed if we don't play this game and this game. It doesn't matter. That's not what this season's about anymore. This is not about getting to a bowl game. Guys,
is it the way they're wired, or is it that they still think there's going to be a pressure from fans and administration, even if that's what people are saying?
I don't know.
Or is it yes and yes?
It's yes and yes.
Okay.
They're wired that way. And then but even though I'm told at multiple schools, Ole Miss included, that coaches have been told, hey, look, no one's getting fired for on-field performance this year. No one.
Well, yeah, duh. I mean,
This is the first week that Ole Miss kind of wishes they just held on to Matt Luke. Save a lot of money.
Ooh.
Shane Huey says, okay, there's a couple questions in here. Let's get some of these questions because these are good. People want to know answers to these, and I don't necessarily know that I know them.
Okay.
Will the non-conference games be pushed back a year or just flat canceled? My guess is canceled.
You push back, what are you doing next year's? I mean, these contracts are set so far in advance. Yeah, there's nowhere to push them. I think it's just over. I don't think the games happen.
Would the SEC consider moving all of their games to a neutral location if no fans are involved? No. The SEC is not going to do the
bubble.
MLS, NBA bubble. Look, if you want something to cheer for that gives you some hope, it's Major League Baseball starting next weekend because those players are not in a bubble. Now, they're being really, really restrictive, and they're asking grown men to behave like grown men, but they are going back to their homes after games. They are staying in hotels, things of that nature.
It's the closest thing we have to what this would have to look like.
Yeah, the NBA is in a bubble.
Yeah, that is not representative of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, now how fast that bubble pops is going to be fascinating, but
and having some flexibility when it does pop. It's to the PGA Tour's credit, they haven't freaked out. I mean, it's kind of whatever. They had a COVID group of this week. I mean, they had 3 guys who had finished the protocols as far as symptoms and not being, at least according to the CDC or whatever, contagious, but had not gotten negative tests. And they said, hey, just put them together and let them play together. And they did that. They've been incredibly flexible in this thing. And to this extent, it's worked out.
No, they've done well.
Yeah, it's been good.
They've done well. Major League Baseball's done well so far. They had a few days where, hey, some testing thing is like, hey, okay, just don't work out today or push your workout back. Just hang tight. Let's be cool. Don't panic. Michael Adderholt says, in the event that a season does happen, do we have conference championships and not a national title this year? I don't know. I'm telling you, man, when I tell you this, they're not that far along.
Let's do it this way. if an 8-game season happens and is played to conclusion with all Power 5 conferences, okay?
All right.
Is there a playoff in your opinion? Not bowl games, a playoff.
Based on the numbers today, no.
Okay, no. So just play in 8 games and be done with it and call it a day.
Maybe
a conference championship, you feel the need, whatever.
I think you'd play conference championships because you'd still be within the protocols.
Sure, yeah. But you don't think there's a playoff?
As of today?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But now, could that change?
Yeah, sure.
Look, there are 2 or 3 things out there that could help. Number one, the numbers have to go down, and we can all talk about the numbers. And if you've read 10 Weekend Thoughts or listened to me, I think you know what I think about a lot of this. But the numbers have to go down. That's number one. Number two, Major League Baseball has to play and it has to work. They can't have a shutdown. I mean, if you are a Cubs fan, you got to cheer for the Cardinals too right now. You got to cheer for the Brewers too. If you're a Cardinal fan, as hard as it is for you to cheer for the Cubs, you have to. Because if the Cubs have some breakout on their roster that forces the league to postpone or something, it's over at that point. You can kiss it goodbye. And then the big thing is the NFL has to play. They've got to get started with mini camps. And then more importantly, they have to play some exhibition games. It's why what I anticipate for the SEC is if someone said to me, okay, the football gods came down and said there's a season. That's all I'm going to tell you is there's a season. My guess would be the season started late September, early October, probably 8 games, SEC only, where the NFL got started and played a few weeks, and people were able to say, see, it's okay. It's okay. Got to control it, but it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, look, the NFL is the sport that will dictate the most here, period.
Yes.
I mean, not even a thought. That is it in every way.
And the NFL is watching Major League Baseball closely.
Yeah, because, frankly, they've got to move before college technically does. So
well, every Major League Baseball team is going to be 30 active players.
Okay.
It's going to be coaching staffs. It's not like basketball where you have you can get away with. I know an NBA team has 22 coaches, but they're only going to have 3 or 4 on the bench. Everybody else is going to be scattered.
Sure.
Major League Baseball, I saw at Wrigley, they were expanding the dugouts. So they're trying to socially distance players. I think you'll see the NFL expand the sideline, stuff like that. Again, if you're a sports fan, you want the NBA to work, but it won't be a litmus test for team sports because they can do a bubble and they're going to do it. MLS they're bubbled too. You're watching the NFL, you're watching Major League Baseball, and you're just kind of hoping that societally the numbers go down to a place where people exhale a little bit.
Yeah. You can get the next question ready for in a second. First, tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting, understands your market, leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by I was laughing at something. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. I'll have a food for thought on Friday. It is brought to you by the Iron Horse Grill. Live music 4 times a week. The perfect place to enjoy lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch. It's located at 320 East Pearl Street in Jackson. They've added the largest outdoor patio in Jackson right there along the Illinois Central Railroad. You can also check out the Mississippi Music Experience Museum on the 2nd floor of the Iron Horse Grill. Dead Soxy discounts are back. While some prices have risen on the website, the MPW digital network of podcasts and Rebel Grove subscribers will always have access to the best Dead Soxy discounts available. Use promo code Rebel Grove at checkout. Get 30% off the best dress socks you'll ever put on. If you were on the fence about getting your kids a pair of the limited edition socks, use promo code Rebel Grove. Get a pair you and your child will enjoy and love for $5. Shutdown deals with the promo code combination are available in select styles as well. So go to deadsoxy.com and make your day a Soxy one. Our friends at Blue Delta Jeans are excited to announce that on October the 16th, the Friday before what we can only hope is the Florida game, Blue Delta Jeans will be hosting the 2nd annual Delta Cup golf tournament. You guys may remember last year's Delta Cup was taken home by Chase Parham and his team. So this year's Delta Cup will be your opportunity to challenge the reigning victors.
All 4 of us are back, so
there you go. Tee time will be at 10 a.m. at Mossy Oak Golf Club, and your registration fee will include green and cart fees, food and drinks on the course, as well as a new pair of Blue Delta jeans. Prizes will be up for grabs for hole-in-ones, closest to the pin, and longest drive. The field will be limited to 18 teams this year, so don't wait. Email Tyler, Tyler, at bluedeltajeans.com to reserve your spot, and they'll see you on the course.
It's a good point there. Augie Garrido was great in love of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He was the Yankees manager in that.
You asked him to be a baseball coach.
He was a baseball coach. He and Costner were tight from when Augie was at Cal State Fullerton.
Oh, was that right?
Yeah. That's where they were legitimately friends from when Augie was at Fullerton. Because I guess he was at Texas at that point, but yeah, they had met there. Costner, obviously a sports fan, baseball fan, so that was part of that. Somebody says, who was great was the dude injecting Costner with God knows what kind of drugs throughout the movie. Yeah, hey, that was the bit characters. You get that guy, and then you get the masseuse or your bit characters in this one. So.
She gets upset, and he's like, "She's my masseuse. I like her."
But his heart leapt. It leapt.
Yeah, it leapt.
It leapt. When I saw you, it leapt.
Yeah. Something else did not leap.
Girlfriend's kid. We end up getting her on the bus. A lot of stuff going on in For Love of the Game. It probably is a little shaky on plot devices, but I mean, look, it is a masterpiece compared to Draft Day as far as reality.
Yeah.
But did you ever watch that?
I tried.
The football stuff.
Yeah. It's just easier to make a baseball movie than a football movie.
Don't do a movie about logistics and then completely ignore the logistics. Like, I get the average person maybe just goes, okay, sure, but like it has to be a sports consultant is a job in movies, right? That comes in and go, hey,
yeah, sure.
No, that's stupid.
And most viewers are willing to
give you a little bit,
strain credulity to a certain point.
But
yeah,
well, they did the draft and they ended up with the 5 best players. Look at that, damnedest thing. Well, okay, but
yeah, in no world would that work.
Yeah. And everything happens the day of the draft. You got months, but by God, in these 8 hours, we got everything done. We got trades, we got stuff. We got this thing
busy.
handled. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead. What do you got next?
Let's see. I found it.
Yes, Vin Scully was calling the games and the game as well.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons it's so good.
It's true.
It's true. I mean, Vin Scully reading a phone book would be interesting.
Yeah.
Cole Wood says, can we start the season after the election, considering the media won't be trying to shut everything down? Look, I wrote this in 10 thoughts. The election is not dictating decisions right now. There's just no world where all of these athletics programs would say, yeah, we'll sacrifice jobs and money. And
safety and money and liability are dictating decisions right now.
And you got those in the wrong order.
Okay, but those 3 items. I think liability, frankly, is number 1 right now.
I do too, no question, which is tied in with money.
Yeah, right.
I do think in a scenario, if I'm just being honest, I do think in a scenario where Joe Biden's elected president in November and is inaugurated on January the 20th, I do think it will be amazing to watch the flip of many of our friends, and I put that in quotes, in the media. I do think their tune will change on a number of things.
Curious here, legitimate question. To some extent, I mean, to a large extent, there is a difference, obviously, between your Twitter and your sports media and your Fox News or whatever. Media, not one unilateral organization. Obviously, lots of different voices, lots of different people. You expect even a sports media flip on that, though, not simply just a news, political type media change on that.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be dramatic, but I think you'll see a tone change. I think you'll see some of the people who are now, the Stuart Mandels and the Darren Rovels and the people like that who have taken glee in what is beginning to transpire. I think you'll see their tone change in large part because their bottom line is going to get impacted, and at some point they've got to if you're a sports writer or a sports commentator, you need sports. I mean, stands to reason. But yeah, I think so. I think the political part of this is a little overplayed nationally, but it's there. And I think for people to pretend that it's not a factor in media coverage. Now, again, it's not a factor in decisions that are being made, but it absolutely is a factor in media coverage. There's no way around that, in my opinion. I don't even know that it's – I've said this. I don't know that it's conscious.
I guess that's a good point. I mean, and Twitter just makes everything so stupid.
Twitter's a bad place, man. Twitter's a bad place.
It makes humanity worse.
Yeah, Twitter is a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not that For Love of the Game is the best ever baseball movie.
It's not.
It
hits a lot of cues for a guy my age and your age.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really grow up with it per se, but yeah, I mean, it's just sort of, and it means something different to you every 10 years. I think there is a part of it where it's like, all right, fine, yeah, it's goofy and it's hokey. And
the love story is sappy, but
it's fine.
But it kind of also works a little bit. It's of course,
as much as any of them do.
You sort of could see how that could play out the way that it played out.
He would stop and help her car.
Not that part, but how they would split up the distance. The distance would tear them apart, and then.
That's a good point. Big Man says probably the only adult baseball that isn't a comedy, Moneyball 2. I mean, unless we're going to talk about like Bang the Drum Slowly or some stuff like that, because that's depressing as hell. Read the book, by the way. Don't watch the movie.
Moneyball's fine as a movie. It's fine. But it's more of a baseball movie. This is, I don't know that, For Love of the Games, it's a baseball movie, but it incorporates just enough other stuff. Yeah.
That's simply a plot device.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I will take it 9 days out of 9 against Field of Dreams. So, I mean, just every day.
Yeah.
Jake Taylor, Indians jersey, is up the list, too. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah, I would like that one.
That's a good one.
That's
Number 7, Indians jersey.
Can you wear an Indians jersey anymore, though? I mean, it's...
Do they have one that has Cleveland across the front? Does their road grays have Cleveland across the front?
I'd have to go back and look at it. I'd have to hope so, because I don't
know the answer.
I don't want to offend anyone.
Redskins changing today, right?
Yeah, but I don't think they're announcing what they're changing to because it's sort of tied up in some sort of live.
Are they going to have a like a contest or what?
No. Apparently they already know what they're doing.
Oh, they do.
But what they're going to is tied up. The rumor is it's Red Wolves, but that Red Wolves is tied up in some.
Oh, huh?
Yep.
Who owns Red Wolves that's causing an issue?
I don't know, but someone has a trademark on Red Wolves or something. That's the rumor out there.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Roger Dorn 24 would be a very good one too.
Dorn or Jake Taylor? That's a good question. Oh,
almost rather have Dorn.
Yeah, because you're still looking for comedy. Like it's got to be like you got to be in on the joke here.
Yeah. Who was the pitcher? The old man pitcher that greased up the ball?
Ed.
Yeah.
Ed.
Now his might be
Harris maybe or something like
Harris.
that. Yeah.
His might be a really good one to get.
Yeah, he's like Vaseline, Vagisil, like going up. Do they? I think Indians are on all uniforms. I looked up like Cleveland Major League movie thing, and I'm seeing every picture has Indians across the front of the jersey.
Surely they played a road game somewhere in that.
I think it might be a gray with Indians across the front, though. I'm still looking. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm doing a quick search while we're talking, but almost all the pictures and stuff are from home games for the most part that I'm just scrolling through.
Shane Huey says, I've said this before, but just don't think a spring season works for a number of reasons. I'd love to have a football season, just don't see it happening if moved to the spring. Well, you're not alone, Shane. There's a lot of people that think that. And listen, if they play a spring season, it is because it was a way to recoup some of the losses. if they play a spring season, that's all there is to it. Will a lot of elite players who are draft eligible bolt? Of course, they should. I mean, I almost think people would advise them to. The problem with the spring season is we don't really know what the virus does. Does it come back in the spring? Because it hit in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Does it come back in the spring? I don't know. Beats me. And then the bigger problem, and this is one they'd have to overcome and they'd have to talk about, and I'm told there are some real issues with this, but if you play, let's say you play a 10-game season or even an 8-game season that starts in the middle of March, what takes you to the middle of May? When do you start the 2021 season on time?
That's the problem here. I mean, you're wanting these players to play, I mean, in theory, 20 games in one calendar year. I just can't see it. That the spring season has so many issues with me that I'm having a hard time even getting there. I really am. Like, I can't. Unless it's a last ditch effort and it's a really short thing and you're just playing maybe a 6-game schedule. Even play your division opponents.
Yeah, and
I
don't know what the networks do at that point.
Because networks are funny here. Because let's even say best case happens and we get an 8 or a 10-game fall schedule. More people are going to be watching. Ratings will be higher because nobody's winning stands, or at least not to the normal thing.
We're talking about a fall schedule.
Fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. A perfect world.
Yeah.
8 or 10 games, fall season. Ratings are going to be higher. More people's going to be watching than ever.
Ratings skyrocket.
Mm-hmm. The TV networks, in an effort to not spend a ton more money, will go, yes, we would owe you more in that instance, but here's the two things: fewer games and worse environment.
Yeah.
So it would almost kind of, I think, average back out to the same price, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think some of the public commentary about going back to them and renegotiating.
It's a problem in a couple different ways.
Well, I think it's just kind of a negotiating tool.
Okay, yeah.
It's to stop the TV networks from going, hey, this isn't really what we paid for. Because we're not getting the marching bands, and we're not getting the fans, and we're not getting the...
Well, just like I said, fewer games.
Yeah, it's not getting any of it.
A lot fewer games. Yeah, Eddie Harris was that guy's name.
Yeah.
He's still alive. He is 78 years old now. He was born in 42.
He's my parents' age.
Think he'd do the podcast? A guy like that we might could have a shot at, like the bit character from one of these.
That would be great.
Because somebody was like, hey, could you get John C. Reilly on the podcast? It's like, probably not.
Yeah, Corbin Burnson, probably not happening.
No, but Chelsea Ross. Hey, now you're getting into our lane. Hey, the C-level guy from the movie. Hey, we'll take a shot at that guy. See what I can do. Yeah. Didn't hear back from Kelly Preston's people, but Chelsea Ross might have a shot here.
Yeah.
We'll see what transpires. The masseuse from For Love of the Game probably could find her.
That would be awesome.
I think we probably could find the masseuse from For Love of the Game. Just a hunch there. You wrote about this. We've been talking about it all week. I wrote about it on Friday. All the SEC ADs are meeting in Birmingham today. It was a previously scheduled meeting. Now the itinerary has certainly changed, but the meeting was already there. It wasn't some rush thing. They had a teleconference together on Friday. I don't expect a final decision today. I still think they're going to kick the can as long as possible. Or just wait. I don't necessarily mean a negative connotation there, but just wait it out.
Well, there's no reason to make a decision today, one way or the other. Now, what is interesting is I think this was supposed to be the week that they were going to be able to start the OTA kind of thing with the football.
That's right.
And I've heard nothing about that one way or the other. I can't imagine that they're doing that.
How many schools have stopped everything right now? Certainly a few.
A handful. I don't know. Here's the better question, and frankly, we've done a bad job reporting this. It's not our fault, but how many kids are still in town? Because I've heard some rumblings all over the country that some kids have said, I'm not.
Well, you say on Instagram and Snapchat that a lot of players, including some pretty high-profile ones, are not here.
Right, they're not in Oxford.
Elijah Moore, for example, just throwing one out there.
Is Kiffin here?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I don't, because at this point he can't do anything day-to-day yet, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. So, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm trying to find the name of the masseuse from the movie. And I don't know if she actually has a name in the credits or if it's just. Like
I don't think she ever was named. She was just she's my masseuse.
Yeah, I'm looking through.
Although he might have used her name at one point, didn't he?
Did he? Oh no, masseuse found it. Laura Cayouette. I don't know. Cayouette.
We should try to get her on.
You think that's who we could go for? I think that's the answer.
I wonder how old she is now.
I mean, I can shoot some bigger shots, but I feel like that's the one.
We should take some small shots too.
Yeah, let's diversify.
When you go to the bar, you sort of create some opportunities, plural.
just in case that first one doesn't work.
Yeah, you have an A-list.
Let's see. She is 56 years old. Alma mater is University of South Alabama. So
there you go.
Discuss some Mobile stuff on
Sure.
here. She might have been some of the same fish places in Spanish Fort around there.
Very possible.
I mean, who knows what's going on? People helping people here. Let's see. Yeah, she graduated from South Alabama. Creative writing, English lit. Let's see.
Is she from Mobile?
No, she was born in Washington D.C.
Okay.
I don't. Again, I no idea. Let's see. Oh, she's best known as Leo DiCaprio's sister in Tarantino's Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's see. She did some Larry Sanders Show. She was on an episode of Friends. She was Ross's first date after the racial breakup in Friends. So we got stuff everywhere here. I mean, we could do an hour with this.
Oh, sure.
With this woman. I mean,
as
long as she's got available.
If she's willing.
Yeah, I mean, the list of people she's worked with is pretty long and distinguished here. So taking a line from Top Gun. Let's see. She directed some different stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff here with.
Sammy says we could get the jerk Yankees fan who was in the bar.
Probably could do
at
that.
JFK.
That would be.
That'd be good.
He played a really good.
Yeah, he did well.
He was good.
When they first introduced that character, you're like, stop. But they did a good job with it.
And then he's like, all right, yeah, like it's all right, good, yeah.
What I love in that movie at the end is the big fat guy in the stands that goes, "Hey, perfect game." It's like, yeah, everyone knows it's a perfect game at this point. That's why everyone's on their feet watching this. Of course, everyone already knew it was a perfect game.
That was your issue with the movie?
It was one of it. I didn't have many issues, but that one bothered me, and it still kind of bothers me every time.
This lady, her last movie was 2018, and then she did some 2017-18 TV as well. She was in an episode of House of Cards. She was in an episode of True Detective. Yeah, got a lot of stuff here. This might be an email that gets sent later today. Just
you think we could get Steve Lyons on? Leif thinks we could get Steve Lyons.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would say that's a very good possibility.
Steve Lyons, more known for love of the game or for taking his pants off on the field?
It's the pants, but I
don't know.
I don't know. Do you think he's actually, people could go, hey, that's who this guy's name is in For Love of the Game? Do you think they would know his name?
Well, Vin Scully says it.
Well, okay, but we know Vin Scully.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
That's a tough day at the office. Like,
you're in the same booth with Vin Scully. Go get him, Tiger.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think people would know Vin Scully. I don't know that they could say Steve Lyons off that. So my guess is no.
How did we get into this today?
Kelly Preston passed away.
Oh, Kelly Preston. That's right.
Yeah. Did you forget that?
No, I remembered. I just was thinking when we started today, I didn't think we would be breaking.
You weren't expecting For Love of the Game.
I wasn't prepared to be breaking down For Love of the Game. I can do it because I've watched it.
I think they like that. I think they like that more than when we talk about Rocky every day for like 6 weeks. So, is Top Gun 2 still coming out this year? By the way, do we still have that release date?
That's a good. I don't know.
Because like Hollywood's dead right now. So is anything?
Well, Hanks was working on some movie. I saw this. It was on TV the other day. He's been working on some movie for like 10, 13 years, and they're going to release it.
Oh, really?
Apple is releasing it.
What is it?
On TV. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
It was some movie. He's on a boat.
Well, that does not narrow it down with Tom.
No, it's a brand new movie.
I know, but I'm saying he's been on a lot of boats.
Yeah, he's been on a lot of boats. This is like it's almost like a war movie. I'm thinking.
So not like Captain Phillips again.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Big Ben says Greyhound. Is that what it is?
I don't know. We talked about release date for Top Gun 2 remains December 23rd, 2020. So 2 days before Christmas, 2020.
If I'm them, I speed that up, release it on. I don't know what I.
But are people going to theaters?
No,
That's your problem.
I mean, I release it on like
oh, you're releasing this thing just
Netflix,
straight to whatever.
Yeah,
Figure out who will pay you the most money, and they get it.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Greyhound. Okay.
That was supposedly he's been. For some reason, the number 13 sticks out. Years working on it, and
Really?
it was going to come out in theaters, and now Apple's pushing it out.
Okay. I'll look it up in a second while we're talking. While I'll do that to give me a little bit of time.
He's a convoy escort captain in World War II.
Okay.
According to Sammy.
He's done a good job in war movies before, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. Does a lot in most things. Yeah.
Here's before we go to a break and stuff.
You got a hot take or something?
No, not really a hot take, but what's interesting about a spring schedule is the NFL has has a plan in place to take advantage of no college football season, and they've had it in place for a while now. And so if you get the NFL's not going to change their draft schedule for college football. They're going to keep doing their deal. They've proven that. I just don't think it works. You can do it, but if you do it, it's a watered down minor league college football season, where I think schools even treat it like exhibition games and start not even playing a lot of their better players, saving them for the real season. But I get back into my question. This will be a tease. What's the end game on this thing? Are we of the opinion that there's going to be a vaccine in place before August of 2021? Are we of the opinion that it's just going to go away by August of 2021? What is the end game here? I keep asking people that question, and no one can answer it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. First, I'll tell you about G&M Pharmacy and Tyson Drugs. Both stores open regular business hours. Tyson utilizing a walk-up window. And G&M is offering curbside service, still dedicated free local delivery, and also same-day delivery as well. They have hand sanitizer available. You can find out more on their Facebook pages. Again, G&M right there in Oxford on South Lamar. Tyson Drugs on the square in Holly Springs, 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. They treat investing like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fees. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about a golf trip, just to get away, I can tell you it was nice for me just to kind of get away for a few days. Get into the fall. People are going to want to get away, get a break. Get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits, simply not available to other travelers. 901-494-3387. JEdwards at regencytravel.net. What you do is you just give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you some options. And you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. And if you tell him that you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast, you'll get 50%. I'm not 50%, $50 off your first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
A quick question from Andrew Sego says, what do you think? Top Gun 2 will be good or just a nostalgia money grab? I want my nostalgia. If I just get my nostalgia, I will consider it good. I don't want to break new territory. I don't want to try some new things. I want my 1986 Top Gun delivered to me in 2020. I want to build off the same plot devices. I want to build off the same popcorn movie type aesthetic. That's what I want. So, yeah, no, don't reinvent the wheel with my Top Gun. Give me exactly what I'm walking to the theater to see and let me leave happy.
Yeah.
don't do anything stupid.
No. Just entertain me for 2 hours. Take me away from real-world problems for 2 hours.
Be Rocky Balboa, Creed 2, not Rocky 5. Keep me in the same world. Give me the same feel, the same sort of intimacy for a type of movie.
And I will give you all sorts of rope.
Yeah. Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Val Kilmer is in the new Top Gun. Goose's son is in the new Top Gun, played by Miles Teller. I was trying to think of his name. I think that's right. Maybe Miles Teller's playing somebody else, but I think Miles Teller's in this movie. Is Tom Skerritt still around? I don't know. That's a good question from the stream. So anyway, what's the end game?
David J says flattening the curve is the end game. Duh.
And we've been through that.
I don't even know what that means anymore.
I'll tell you what some of it is. Some of it is hope. And I'm really serious here. Humans by nature, something's in a couple weeks and it's not going to work out. You just kind of kick the can down the road and you go, hey, just let some time pass. Things will work out. I don't know if there's a lot of concrete plans for these spring seasons or anything to some extent. I think it's simply a reassuring thing. I think it's a hope thing that, hey, this is a time where maybe we're in a better shape and we're going to give this thing and, hey, it's got to get better. There's a certain part of that with this where it's not really about any systemic thing where it's, hey, we're trying to get to a vaccine or we're trying to whatever. I think it's a coping mechanism in a way. I really do.
But when people ask the question, so what's, because here's what I believe is coming with schools.
Okay.
Y'all, we're going to start online. But we're working to get in-person instruction. My question is, well, what's the guideline for that? I mean, give me a number that we can look at. What are we doing? Well, we're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. You know what it reminds me of, Chase? All of it. You go to an airline. You're at the
Kiosk.
Gate.
Oh, gate.
You're at the gate, and they announce flight 272 to Denver has been delayed. We have a slight mechanical issue. We'll update you when we know more. 2 hours later, there's no update. You ask questions, and they look at you like, if you think we are going to give you a legitimate update, and you're like, should I get on a different flight or what should I? There is no update. But you're stuck here now. You can't leave. Kind of like the Hotel California. Just can't leave. It feels like we're in this thing where you just can't leave. You're stuck. You ask questions. Well, I don't really know that we can tell you that. I don't really know that answer. Is it a percentage that you have to get under? How does it work? Because I've said this. I'm really willing to fight, not literally fight people, but have discussions with people about this remote learning thing with kids K-12. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, you're better off just canceling school and going, hey, kids who are going to be in the 8th grade next year are going to be in the 8th grade in 2 years. We're just going to kill it for a year. Because the online instruction doesn't work. It doesn't work. Unless you're willing to admit, hey, and pardon my language here, unless you're willing to admit out loud, this is total bullshit, and we know it, and the kids aren't learning anything, but this is a way for us to continue to take the tax money and pay the teachers and whatever. We realize we're screwing the kids. We realize they're not learning a damn thing. We get it. In fact, hell, teachers aren't even going to be in the Zoom classes. Your kids, we're not calling roll. Everybody's getting pass-fail grades, and they're just going to move on. If you'll own that and be honest with me, I'm like, okay, well, at least you're honest. But when you do this thing, well, it's just as effective, and we've put all this research into it, that is total BS.
Connor Rowe 2000 makes a good point, too. He says K through 12 teacher, but this goes for every level. The state's basically asking for more work, but doesn't pay anything extra. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you got to find these 8 different ways to teach, and you got to do all these things.
Doesn't work. Let me make this clear. Both of my parents were teachers. My dad was in higher education. My mother was a high school teacher, the overwhelming majority of her career. In no way am I criticizing teachers. No way. Not even a little bit. But it doesn't work. I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts. I watched it in my house. And this is a big house. The kids can space out. We've got 2 Wi-Fis going.
You do.
I mean, doing everything I can. Well, every other kid doesn't have that.
I think it was maybe it was in that thread for the COVID update today. I don't remember. There was a link that I didn't click, but the thing was the LA Times reporting that 40% of kids never opened the link to their online learning once they went.
Yes.
Whatever. It's 40%.
And in New York, it was like 30%.
Yeah, 33, 36, something like that. So.
I mean, I watched it by the end with Carson, who was finishing the 7th grade. He was waking up at 10:30. He didn't get a shower, nothing. Hair was disheveled, and he's kind of in a Zoom class for 5 minutes, and then he's done for the day. He's like, "Did you do your homework?" Yeah. We quit checking it. I finally, because I could tell there was a mental toll being taken, and I finally told him, I'm like, "Man, I don't care about your grades this year. Do whatever." Because what happened was the teachers, knowing that they had to do something, but the Zoom classes didn't work, the teachers would just pile busy work at them.
Well, let's break it down from a level of no. Look, I don't envy anybody. I don't envy students in this. I don't envy teachers in this. The administrators are just kind of trying to find this middle ground because there's no right decision in some ways, at least pleasing everybody. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at us. I mean, we both communicate for a living, and we've done it 1,000 times, and it's fine. Even doing podcasts, if we're doing them over Skype, they're not as good as being in the same room together. You don't play off one another. You don't communicate. You miss so many different things, even in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to learn or teach or do anything from that level with people who are not, frankly, trained in communication to begin with.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Well,
now you're at a whole different – I mean, I
Chase,
don't
I'll give you an
it.
example.
I don't get a lot out of Zoom. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I stopped therapy when Zoom came through because I was like, I don't want to do it that way.
I talked to a high school football coach in Tennessee who also teaches chemistry.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how do you do that? He's like, what? I said, how do you teach chemistry on Zoom? He goes, you don't. You don't. So the kids just don't learn chemistry. Just don't get it. How do you teach that? And look, I get maybe you can teach 1st and 2nd grade a little bit. Maybe you can teach reading and writing and arithmetic to kids, but now those kids have to have a parent there all the time. They've got to have a parent basically co-teaching throughout the day. How does that work? In a single-parent home or in a 2-parent home where both parents work?
You know, again, I mean, there's no – the school district said, hey, well, maybe we'll go on Monday, but then Thursday, and this kid goes on Tuesday, and then Wednesday. Yeah, single parents. Frankly, forget single parents. Just houses where everybody works. How does that work? Who stays with these kids? Like, what are we doing? How do you make it work? And there are no answers. Everybody just goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
How are they eating? Meals at school are very important for a large number of kids.
Sure.
Incredibly important.
Sure. Even in a place like Oxford, which is affluent in this state. There's lots of kids that's 2 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
But even beyond the meals.
And the pickup thing was a great idea back in the spring, but it did not work to the level they needed that to work to make it sufficient. Where they had, hey, you can come pick up the meals for breakfast and lunch. Because, again, somebody has to pick them up. They're not delivering them. So what do you do there?
All right, so here's the question that comes up all the time. And I'm not – Robert Layden says, how do schools at any level protect their vulnerable employees? Well, at the college level, they teach via remote.
Yeah,
not online, remote.
Set times.
It's live.
Yeah.
At the high school level, and this is going to be a really unpopular answer here, what I'm about to say, and a lot of people are going to get mad at me. Life isn't fair. I can't go down to the pickup. I can't go down to the gym and play basketball with a bunch of 25-year-olds right now. Can't do it. Going to get hurt if I do. If you're older and you have comorbidities, probably just don't need to be there anymore. You're going to have to find something else to do. But shutting down.
But it's back to our story. You got huge liability issues now.
Yeah.
Because you got suits that will happen at that point, and frankly, they'll probably win.
So you'll have to settle something.
Yeah.
You'll have to come up with something. But shutting down 90-something% for the 1 or 2% is flawed. It's flawed.
I don't think there's an excess of teachers that can't find jobs, especially in the state. That was asking the thread. I don't think that's the case. Which I know they've done some changes. I know they're kind of changing how students get certified and different things to try to push more people out into the field. But I'm not 100% sure. Exactly what that looks like.
Maybe with an older teacher who's immunocompromised or whatever, maybe she teaches remotely from her home and the kids watch it on a Zoom screen. I don't know. But I can tell you that the list of problems that we're going to run into if we just shut down schools, and that's what the online learning thing is, y'all, is shutting schools down. The list of problems is mammoth. And I wrote this, I think we're borrowing problems that we don't know how. We're borrowing debt that we're not going to be able to pay off. Mm-hmm. Depression, addiction, suicide. And then if we're doing it under, here's what bothers me too. When I hear the super woke people go, we have to protect the kids. All right. Can we be honest? If do you really believe high school kids are not going to find a way to get together and party? If you don't play college football, do you think all these college football players all over the country are just going to go sit at home and wait the thing out? I'm going to guess not.
We've seen what that's looked like already this summer. I mean, in a lot of different ways.
Literally, all of the spread at Ole Miss, to my knowledge, has come outside of the building. Mm-hmm. It's why with Major League Baseball that all these teams have had. I've talked to a couple of Major League Baseball people who've said the message has been sent loud and clear. Hey, we are asking you to be a responsible adult, to be a human, to go home and be smart. Don't go to the club. Don't go to the bar. Mm-hmm. If you want to play. I mean, and they've asked that of the college kids, and it appears that message has not gotten through. Those kids are not willing to do that.
Better than it was at first, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's what's going to happen with that group, or frankly any group. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you're seeing it at any level. I mean, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. I mean, they're basically a lot of people that are not necessarily following guidelines to an absolute T. I mean, that's a lie. It's what's happening. So.
But if the standard here is that there can be zero infections, mm-hmm. well, then shut it all down. If that's what we're doing, we cannot take any chance. Then let's lower the speed limit on the highways to about 20 and enforce it. Let's put governors on cars that prevent them from accelerating. I mean, what do we do? At some point, there is a certain degree of chance in everything you do.
That's your high-profile mask over there. Like that's the good one, isn't it?
This is the good one, yeah.
Yeah, I was just kind of glancing as we were looking here.
And before people do this thing with me, I wear a mask. I wore a mask in Florida. If I got on the elevator, I wore a mask.
How many people would you stay with them? What was the percentage? Just curious.
Like at the hotel, the one night we were there,
yeah,
70%. In grocery stores, 90.
Okay.
To 100.
Okay.
On the beach, none. But I mean, who's wearing a mask at the beach?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it. Even in restaurants and stuff, the people were wearing masks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Injured but not sure where to go, no matter where you are, Special Orthopedic Group has you covered with 3 convenient locations in Tupelo, Oxford, and New Albany. No referral is needed to schedule an appointment with one of SOG's fellowship-trained subspecialized surgeons at any one of the 3 locations. 24-hour scheduling. SOG makes it easy to accommodate you. Call 767-4200 or request an appointment on their website, www.sogms.com. Special Orthopedic Group. Choose a specialist. Choose SOG.
I was responding to something here. Yes, okay. We are also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money At OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. They also offer their customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. They also offer online bill pay, mobile check deposit using their online app. To learn more, go to Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. We're also brought to you by Bluff City Advisory Group. They're dedicated to building the future you desire. Founded in Memphis in 2018, their team is comprised of established and seasoned financial experts who came together to serve individuals and families of their beloved hometown. The firm is built on decades of wealth management experience, and they have seen it all. Their financial advisors have a reputation for professional excellence, and their clients rely on their high level of confidence and integrity. So whether you need guidance on developing a financial plan, creating a customized executive benefits program for your business, or preparing a detailed asset allocation analysis, Bluff City Advisory will provide forward-thinking, cost-effective investment strategies customized to fit each client. 901-365-3447 or email Ben, B-E-N, at bluffcityadvisory.com. We're also brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Whitney sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes, and you can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. And we're brought to you by the law firm of Bain, Moss, and Bowen, PLLC, located in historic downtown Corinth, Mississippi. Their firm practices a wide range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss, and Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former district attorney, and a former circuit judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620.
We answered on the Fireway Friday, maybe another day. I thought there was no teeth or really anything behind that Jimbo Fisher thing. Do you disagree there? We're asking the thread. Any thoughts?
About him getting the show cause?
Yeah, and all that. I thought it was completely a non-issue.
Non-issue, and he'll benefit from, because I mean, realistically, the recruiting calendar is going to be so incredibly slowed that it's not going to matter.
Not that it matters, but what do you think about the NCAA letting Missouri use their bowl ineligibilities in this year when nothing was happening instead of extending them? I just thought it was – I'm not mad about it. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a little surprised, frankly.
A little surprised they did it, but at some point asking them to just continue to kick it down the can over something that's not their fault.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's not really fair either, I guess, is it?
Yeah. At this point –
because you're hurting another recruiting class.
Yeah, and at this point, I just don't think that fair is a big area of concern. It's surviving.
Yes. When's the NHL start back?
Well, minicamp should begin at the end of the month.
Is it?
It's when they're supposed to start. They all act like they're going to start. We'll see. You know, and you can put them in a bubble in the minicamp. They'll go to camp.
Yeah.
You can lock camp down. I am curious to see when the first NBA or MLS offense with sneaking a female in.
I think it's a thing.
Oh, I
just got a hunch.
Got a hunch.
Have the meals improved, or are we still giving them like the fire festival kind of stuff?
I think they've gotten better, but I do know.
I saw one even the last couple of days ago. Went that would not fill me up, and I'm not a professional athlete.
Yeah, I do know that a couple of teams were told their players shut up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, quit. It's all just hang in there. It's gonna be okay.
Give it a minute.
Give it a minute, but
I mean, seriously, it was like cheese and crackers and a salad with like nothing on it, and like a bag of chips, maybe a cookie.
But I think it has
like there was no protein or anything.
But I think that was just while they were in the 48-hour.
Okay.
Making sure they were negative.
Okay. I never really thought about that because you're having to supply the food thing, but it was pretty It was pretty rough. So, ESPN.com, mostly Redskins stuff today.
Michael Adderhold has a good question.
What's that?
It is a good question.
Okay.
So how many Oxford businesses fold during the COVID crisis?
What's football doing? Is there a season?
Well, I mean, even if there is a season, people aren't coming. They're not going to be tailgating in the Grove.
That's a great question that I've talked about with a bunch of buddies, and I don't have a real answer to. What percent? I mean, it's not high, but what percentage of people still come to town just to come to town because an event is taking place?
Would they be able to pack into a bar and watch?
Well, they can right now. I'm surprised. Now, I am very surprised they have not peeled back the bar hours to 10 p.m. That has shocked me to this point. I don't know.
How much does enrollment get impacted by the number of online?
A lot, because that number's still going up. They have until, I think, July 20th to finalize that schedule, and I think there's more and more numbers of online classes.
So I'm not going to put a number on his answer, but I'll say this. There are going to be multiple Oxford businesses and establishments that are not here in January that would have been here had it not been for
this
COVID.
Is not, I mean, I said this last week, and I didn't get any pushback because I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. This is not saying that is not important, but everybody focuses on the hospitality industry and bars and restaurants. It's everything.
Sure.
It's up and down the road. It's municipal workers. How many of those are actually being brought back to their jobs that they thought were at least stable, if nothing else, going into this year?
Real estate.
It's real estate. It's
condos, apartments.
On all levels, from vacation rentals to everything. I mean, all the way up and down. There's nothing that's not touched here. I mean, that's the thing when this town, everybody knows this, but when you really think about it, football and the fact that there are crowds or people coming into town, it affects every business in town to some degree. It's all connected.
Yeah, can you imagine being in a hotel?
Well,
you're done.
Yeah,
because beyond that, now kids can't come visit on campus. Parents aren't coming up to see their kids.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm really worried about 2 or 3 restaurants in town, but it goes well beyond that. I mean, I'm worried about everything. I mean, I don't know what we're talking to you guys about. There's no football season in October. We'll juggle or something, but I mean, it's.
Well, I mean, I almost attacked that a little bit in 10 Thoughts with, well, what does it mean for you guys? And I'll write it at some point.
I don't think we know the answer yet. Maybe we'll do something, but I don't know. I mean, figure it out.
I mean, I have some thoughts.
Thank God there's a podcast. Because it built a community that we're all just kind of hanging out. I mean, we're talking about stuff, but we're just hanging out.
My guess is that we would do significantly more night shows. We'll probably do some polls to get some
more
ideas
human interest
from
stuff. Probably hit some pro sports if they're playing to some extent.
Oh,
frankly.
yeah. No, I mean, I've already thought, like if Major League Baseball plays, like when the Rangers open, I think Lance Lynn's scheduled to be their starter.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about Lance Lynn's outing. I don't know. Puffy says Oxford Roads, Highway 6 looked like a scene from The Walking Dead with the grown-up grass.
Oh, really? Is it?
I will say this because I'm mowing a friend's yard this summer because he's out of town, and grass is really growing faster this summer than I can ever remember it growing here. But I don't know whether that's just because we got a lot of rain or what. I don't know.
Scientific there for you.
It might not be just Oxford maintenance people being laid off, but I don't know.
Actually, my yard has grown up pretty quickly the last couple of weeks. I've noticed that the normal time between mowings is not the same or needs to be updated a little bit. Yeah, it's
I'm having to go minimum once a week.
Yeah. So
I think that's Jay.
It is Jay.
Shane Huey says, how has this whole thing affected your subscriber numbers? I'm going to be honest. I haven't looked.
Have you? Podcast numbers were down. I talked a little bit about this with Chris Solomon when we had him on a couple months ago. We fell off, but we didn't fall off to the industry standard. I think across the industry, 20-25% was pretty normal. I didn't do a big deep dive, but I'm going to assume 12 to 15%, maybe 20 certain days. But then I've noticed a huge uptick again in the last 14 days where people were kind of back a little bit for whatever reason. So Yeah, overall, I don't think there has been an impact to the extent that that maybe could have happened or has happened in some places.
Based on our last check, it's fallen off some.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not a ton, but some.
You guys are coming to the site less.
Yeah, I can't.
We noticed that number.
Yeah, I can't make myself go look at it right now.
Yeah, I don't want to pull it up. I don't want to be in a bad mood today, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna. No, numbers didn't drop post Tennessee Tech more than a couple days, if anything.
It had like a 3-day depression drop.
There was a bereavement period that was in with that, but no, otherwise that was fine. So anyway, all right. Probably about does it for the day. Again, we'll give you the schedule for the rest of the week. When we know it, we'll let you know there.
We're basically getting ready to talk about it here in just a minute.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll fill you in whenever we're done. Got some stuff coming to the site and more. So stay locked in. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for everything during this definitely crazy time. And we'll talk to you again very, very soon.